Hey, what's up, Carl? You're on your phone? Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm just trying to figure out why I'm missing one of the researches I'm trying to do isn't here. Here, let me show you. If I go, let's see. If we try to go, and here we go. I mean, today's feast isn't available yet. If we try to go down here, it says, measurements are required for unlocking the seashore. Finish researching. Taking measurements at the lab. Yeah, at the lab. And I don't see taking measurements. That's why I'm... Let's see. It doesn't even show up when I search for it. All research. They just said taking measurements at the lab. So yeah, I don't get that. You got your sorceress level 45? Nearly 46? Nice! Dude, you were playing a lot then. Yeah, the sorceress is fun. I definitely think the sorceress is very fun. I'm just chilling right now. I wanted to work... I'm still working on raising the Stronghold because it helps... I think it helps all my characters. I mean, it does because I can craft stuff. This one says, this research can be proceeded immediately. Yeah, I don't understand why it's telling me about something here that I can't even do. Workshop. This is... I think I've already done this one. Maybe I need to... Oh, so reach Stronghold. I might need to just get to lab level 3. Let me look this up. And I know everybody's like, I don't want to look stuff up. But I'll look stuff up. Because what's happening is they're telling me to learn something that it doesn't show up in the list. This taking measurements is not showing up. Even if I say show all research in the lab, it's not showing up. So if we go Lost ARK, taking measurements. It's not... See, if people are looking, why is this not available? Look, Sam, I don't see this research anywhere. No idea. I have more research going. Go further back beside the manor. Go down the steps in the golden light, which will lead you to the cave. That doesn't help. While this helped a bunch, I didn't have time cave complete, so I still don't see it. I haven't gotten so far as 12. So these guys don't even know yet. I think it may be gated by level 15. Oh, thanks, Carl. Yeah, she's doing pretty good. She actually went out with her friend today. She's in bed right now. She went out with her friend today and got to hang out with a friend she hadn't seen in a while, so that made her really happy. And she went out and had dinner with her friend, and she came home, and she was tired. So she went to bed. She probably went to bed about 20 minutes ago. Right before I got online here. Thank you for asking. Yeah, so... How come I can't find this? I'll start taking measurements, lab research. Oh wow, if I click on the display, it displays several unavailable tasks that require things I don't have, such as mana level 3, and I can't search for them, unlike taking measurements. This guy's lab level 3, and he still doesn't see taking measurements, so... I'm not sure when we're going to be able to unlock these barriers here, because that kind of sucks. I guess we'll just... You know, all these barriers seem to be Maybe it's like a... It could be a... It may not be taking... Well, no, it said land development. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so... Alright, so let me go to Discord. See what Imbe said, or what touch somewhere here. Yeah, I agree with that. The comment system is really good. Hey, Malithor. I'm not really... Malithor, I'm not really grinding it, you know? I'm not really... I mean, the game is like... Honestly, you know, Lost Ark, it's just the isometric view really hurts me on this game. I really don't like it. I enjoyed the game, but, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm really just hoping somebody comes out with a good game. You know, Elden Ring's coming out, what, like tomorrow? No, 3 days? I know when that... I might play that, but I'm not sure how fun Elden Ring's really going to be, you know? It comes out on the 25th. And... yeah, but I mean, it's fun. I'm probably going to jump on the Sorceress here pretty soon and play. Level up my Sorceress. All I'm really doing right now is just trying to keep progressing my Stronghold as much as I can. I'm trying to progress my faction with people, so, you know, so no, I haven't done any Chaos Dungeons yet. I don't even have a level 50. You know, I mean, I wouldn't even know how to do the Chaos Dungeons, but once I get to 50, I'm sure I'll figure it out. Well, here, let's play the Sorceress. I think well, let me check on the lab here really quick. Yeah, lab. Yeah, we still have 5 minutes. I want to wait 5 minutes so I can start another. I wish I could. Can I queue these up? I can't. Unfortunately, we can't queue these up. I wish you could. like when you go to the workshop, you can, like, I can go down here and I can say, you know, I can say like craft like a bunch of these at once and it'll kill them, which is nice. And I found that leveling my stronghold the quickest was just making these tree bench. Actually, that reminds me, let's go check the vendor.
Wow, nice place you got here. Our stuff is nice too. Take a look.
This is pretty cool. A tavern menu board. Okay, I definitely want this. I definitely want that. And .440 eye level? Yeah, like I said, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not really pushing this game real hard. I'm just chilling in it, to be honest. It's so weird. This game is like some things in this game are so good, and some of the things in this game are so bad. You know, the game's big time pay to win. I mean, big time pay to win, and like. So it's like there's no sense in me trying. I'm not gonna try to like beat anybody to max level because if I really want to do that, I could just swipe my credit card and probably have all my shit already. But I'm not gonna do that. So I'm just leveling the characters up, enjoying the game, trying to figure out the systems. You know, I kind of like the idea of the Stronghold where you can progress it over time, but it's also in a way a little annoying. It does require a lot of maintenance. You know. That doesn't work. That doesn't seem to work. I don't know. It's just if it's the isometric view. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I can't say it too much. I can't stress it too much. The isometric view, the click to move, really just kills this game for me. It really kills it. And I like the game, but when I log in and I see this camera view, it just sucks. I mean, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I mean, I can't even see my character. I can't even see the front of my character. Like, I have to actually run this direction and then zoom in. Or go into, like, you know, screenshot mode, right? Which is pretty cool that you have screenshot mode, but, you know. I just keep waiting for a real MMO. I still don't consider this a real MMO. I still consider this basically just an action RPG where they've just tacked on a bunch of MMO concepts into it. I mean, the Stronghold is a good idea, but without the third-person camera and without snap to grid and the ability to rotate, it really sucks. It's like I can't really.
Through here if you have the plague.
I can't really like construct anything cool if I can't rotate the screen and I can't like have the ability to snap to grid. So, but you know, like I said, it's like sometimes I play the game and I hate it, and then sometimes I play the game like when I was going through that island and I love it. I was like, wow, this is awesome, you know. So it's a very strange game. But this moving through these narrow corridors and stuff drives me insane. I mean, I hate it. I mean, I really hate this, like, narrow paths and shit. I feel like I'm playing a mobile game, you know?
Please, get rid of them!
Yeah, that's the one good thing is the PvP really isn't tainted, but to get good at PvP is going to require a lot of effort. Since this game's been out a long time, there's a lot of people that are very, very experienced in PvP. So you gotta, I mean, they're, you know, like Kanan says, there's a big barrier to entry, meaning you've got a big learning curve. But it's one of the best PvP, I think. I think the style of the PvP is one of the best, probably. Even though I haven't played it yet, I bet it's going to be one of the best experiences PvP-wise. Of course, it'd be 10,000 times better if it wasn't this god-awful isometric camera view, you know? It'd be so much better. Yeah, I think it's focused on stun locks for sure, but it's also focused on, you know, obviously understanding. What is this? It's focused on, you know, being able to tell who's immune to your stuns, but it is very heavily focused on CC rotations, which I'm not You know, I can, you know, I always point to Terra because to me, when Terra first launched, the PvP in Terra was some of the best PvP I've ever played because it was more around. I mean, there were stuns for sure, but a lot of it was around just movement and placing your skills and landing them at the right time. And there were also counters, and I believe there's counters in this game too, which is always a welcome addition. So. So, who was on the stream last night? Oh my god. Last night, oh my god, I can't remember his name. Shit. Really? I can't? Hold on one second.
Understand.
Where?
You're back. I was waiting for you. There are matters.
Or Jawbone. I couldn't remember his name.
You can go check them
I don't know
in
why.
the office.
Hey, shut up, girl. I'm trying to talk. I don't want to talk over you. But anyways, Jawbone jumped in the stream last night, and he donated me. He sent me $20. He donated $20 towards me, which was great, and I really appreciate it. And but he was like, when are you gonna like create your your join, add the ability for my YouTube channel so people can actually join the channel, become like a member. And I've always wanted to do that. I just never got around to it. But I'm gonna make some polls and stuff, and just try to see what kind of things people would even want for the various levels. Because when you set up like the join type of thing, it's like, what do you want to get? If you pay like $2 a month or something, what would you want to get out of it? Do you want to get emotes? Do you want to get badges? Do you want to get like videos or streams covering specific content that you guys would like to watch? Or do you want to get to see me play my guitar? I mean, it could be anything stupid, you know what I mean? But I'm thinking about maybe setting up some of those tiers this weekend, and maybe, people have asked me about that before, but, like I said, I don't really do this channel to like try to make money so much. It's more just, I enjoy playing, these games, and for me, I do like to solo a lot, so, since I solo a lot and don't play with a lot of people in the games, it's fun to have people in the streams because it almost feels like I'm playing with, with people, because there's people, talking to you in the stream while you're playing, which is cool. Anyways, let me finish this. Complete. Let's pick one that takes a long time. What is this? 3 hours? Yeah, let's do this one. Where you can knock them down. That's cool. Yeah, I think, having the counters and the stuff like that, I think is really good. Oh, let's see.
I sucked at this game the whole time. The second it stops babying you and you actually have to start learning different mechanics, you're like, oh my god, I haven't done anything yet.
Yeah. So that's how I got onto it, and then I've been playing it. I didn't think the game.
No, don't play. You like the PC? Oh, you like the PC background? Yeah, I've always loved that. I've always loved that. That particular wallpaper is a good one. Yes, I know you couldn't write it. Yes, I know, I know, I know. Because I'm an idiot and I started it before you were done. Where is this? My games? No. There it is. So it is here. Okay, cool. Damn you. Why is that even there? What the hell? What the hell, Windows? There we go. So weird. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. I fired up my Russian translator too soon. And it does not like it if you do that. Gives you Dark Soul vibes. Yeah. Lost Ark. Oh man. What are we doing for exit lag? How we doing? How we looking? 143 ms. It takes a minute or so just to patch the file, to patch the Lost Ark, the Russian executable, so that we get the English translations in there. All right. Move this out of the way. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still looking for a good MMO. Like I still feel like Lost Ark it's like you're good, but you're not quite there yet. You know what we need. And I mean, I think at a basic level, you know, there's like, and I've talked about it so many times, but ooh, I've never seen that particular loading image before. What is that? That is a very bizarre. It's like a dragon. I see the wings. Where's the head? Is it here? Right here? That is very bizarre. I'm trying to figure out what this is right here in the middle. That is very bizarre looking. But I think one of the things with Lost Ark that bugs me is because it's isometric, which I absolutely hate, and because it's click to move, which I also absolutely hate, it's hard for me to want to spend the amount of requisite time that it will take to stay relevant or to get your progression to where it needs to be. I mean, you have to spend quite a bit of time in the game, like as far as if you want to use your Stronghold, if you want to do the faction stuff, and you want to, because you need to get in there with your characters, and you need to talk to the people that you want to gain faction with on a daily basis. This stuff has to be on every single day for months and months and months. You know, and it's hard for me to invest all that time in this game when I know that I really dislike the isometric camera and I really dislike the click to move. You know, as fun as the combat is, and it's really fun, it's tough to get over that. Man, if this just was a third-person game, it'd be so good. You know, and I was kind of talking to Iron Bay about this, and we were talking about. Hold on a second. We were talking about Guild Wars. Oh, sorry, that was my Reaper stuff. It's 9 a.m. in the UK. Oh, sorry, Carl. But we were talking about, like, when you play an MMO, I always think of in an MMO, there's a sweet spot, right? There's a sweet spot with, like, how many abilities you should have. Like, I've played MMOs like EverQuest 2. I only played EverQuest 1 like a tiny bit. I played EverQuest 2, but that was like the maximum. Like, that was like the ridiculousness of an MMO as far as like abilities. You actually would have like 9 action bars. You'd have like 60 different abilities. I'm not even joking. 60 different like abilities that you could use. I mean, it was crazy. And then you have like the other end of the spectrum, which would be a game like Lost Ark, where you've only got like 8 abilities. I mean, later on, I mean, you've got you've got this whatever you want to call it, your special ability here, and then later on you get like your awakening skill. So you're only gonna end up with like 10, really, like maybe 10 abilities, maybe 11 or something, which to me is like not very many. You look at like Guild Wars 2, I think you end up with about more around 13 or 14. And plus with Guild Wars 2, you can change weapons. So, and that gives you all new abilities. So it's a lot more really. Like with Guild Wars 2, you could have a sword and shield, which gives you like maybe, 8 skills. I can't remember how many it is in Guild Wars, but it gives you more, And well, I know 60 abilities. Yeah, Final Fantasy 14 has a lot too. Although I only got to level 50 in Final Fantasy 14, but I had quite a few abilities, but it wasn't crazy. It wasn't like insane, right? Like if you go to my YouTube channel and you look for Final Fantasy, let's see. I had like a leveling series. Where is it? Yeah, well, let's take a look. It's first. Like here, I didn't have that many skills. What, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's, 14 skills, 15 maybe. And this was because I wasn't, where's my level at in this game? It's probably... I don't see it. But that's because my character wasn't very high in level right then. Where's like... and again, this is not... Okay, so here we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 skills. And I think I'm... Again, I still don't see my level here anywhere. I'm still trying to figure out what's my character level. I think it's down at the... Oh, here it is. It's down at the bottom. So I'm like level 48 paladin with like 18 skills. But then you have all these other things that aren't combat stuff, like your pet management and stuff like that. And, emotes and all that craziness. And then if you go into Guild Wars 2... And I'm sure in Final Fantasy you'll end up getting a lot more abilities, right? So if we go to Guild Wars 2... Yeah, I was level 48, yep.
Hey guys, it's caffeine injected.
And I've got, let's see.
Something to keep me busy until Panther.
So here we're playing, I hate how when you see, or part 2, where's the whole series? Anyways. Oh, I hate it when you like go to your... I hate it when you try to look at like a video series you've done. You can't get it off of the actual video. You can't watch like one video and get the whole series. You have to actually go into your series. It sucks. Anyways, let's see. Guild Wars 2. And now I've got to go to manage. And we've got to go to playlists. What I'm talking about is playlists. And then we've got to find it because I have quite a few playlists. Here's my hardcore human warrior that made it all the way to 60 without dying. And there we go. So if we go to Guild Wars 2, this was my Guild Wars 2 video series, leveling a Guardian to level 50. And here we can see how many abilities you have at max level. And so in Guild Wars 2, I had 1, 2, 3, that's just auto type still. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But then we can weapon swap, and that would give us 4 more. So you're looking at 17. 17 skills. And there might be a few more in there somewhere, but just 17 is what you have right there. And there's one here that we're not using. I think that's my mount. So that's a little bit on the low side. You know, like yeah, classic get complex when you get burst abilities, but that's a little bit on the low side. But then if you look at something like EverQuest that I played, right? EverQuest 2, Shadow Knight, I think it was called.
Now I gotta pull one of these.
Now, I'm only, like, if you look in this video here, in EverQuest 2, I'm only, like, level 15, okay? Keep in mind, I'm only, like, level, like, 15. And I've got, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, like 20, 21, 22. I've got, like, 22 skills, and I'm only, like, level 15. And in EverQuest 2, they just keep coming, man. I mean, they keep coming. You'll end up with, like, 9 action bars of abilities. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And then let's go to like Rift. Rift is actually, I like the way Rift does it. Let's go to Rift Bard or something. I don't know. Yeah, this doesn't have like I think my higher level Bard. It's pretty close though. So in Rift, you end up like you end up having more than this. I'd say in Rift you end up with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'd say you probably end up with around 20, maybe 20 skills in Rift, probably. You know, and I think, like I said, I think 15 skills should be like minimum, like, right? It should be minimum to have like 15. And in this game, we're looking at not 15. We're looking at like 10. Like this game has like 10 skills, really. And now if you're like a gunslinger, you got 3 different weapons, so that you have more with the gunslinger. So some classes may have more, but a lot of the classes are only going to have around 10 skills. And like we looked at Guild Wars 2, and it's around like, 18. You look at, like I said, EverQuest 2, you're looking at like 40, 50, 60 skills. World of Warcraft, you're looking at maybe, 30 skills in World of Warcraft, maybe a little bit more than that. But I do feel like the sweet spot for me, and because I've played a lot of MMOs for a lot of years, and I've always felt like the sweet spot's right around 20, 20, 25, I think, really. I mean, 15 minimum, and I'd say maximum 40. I don't want to see more than 40, and I would say 15's minimum to have, like, good variety. But I think, for me, like, the sweet spot is right around 20 to 25 abilities. Yeah, I mean, it's nice, sure, but to have more abilities just gives you more options. I think, yeah, art, 100, I 100% agree with you, Malifaux. I would say the most impressive thing in this game is the art style. I mean, I'm talking about the levels design, like, how they've done the levels. Like, the level designs and the art style is just really good. Really, really, really good. It's like really good. It's just amazing. Yeah, if you look, Carl, if you look at like EverQuest 2, like let's do like EverQuest 2 Ray, like EverQuest 2 Shadow Knight. Let's just do like a Shadow Knight guide or something, because we'll see we'll get to see a Shadow Knight, you know, with...
In Norath, there was one class that...
Yeah, we'll get to see a class that has a lot of abilities, right?
can defeat hordes of foes, stealing the life force for their own, while they comfortably reach...
Okay, so here's a Shadow Knight, and you can see he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. I see about 35. Oh, we got more down here. 35, 36, maybe, because some of these are control your pet. 37, 38, 39, 40, 40. These are all pet controls. So now you're looking at about 50, at least 50. Because the Shadow Knight has a pet as well that you control. So at least 50 skills this guy has to worry about. 50 in EverQuest 2. And let's go Rift, Bard, Endgame or something. Let's see.
Hey guys, Andy here again, and today...
we didn't get Rift though, we got Lost Ark.
Hey everybody, this is Chrome. Maintain them, so once every 30 seconds you have to cast.
Okay, so here you have a Bard. And I love the Bard in Rift. Super great class. And here you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Some of these are buffs. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. But a lot of these are buffs. So what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8 of these are buffs. So mostly it's just the skills over here. So you're taking like, 20, 24, 23, 24 skills. But again, to me, this is the sweet spot. This is in an MMO. To me, this is what you need. 2 bars. I would say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. These are actually 13 slots. So that's perfect. I would say 2 13-slot bars. That's 26 skills total. To me, that's right around the perfect amount of abilities. You know what I mean? Wait a minute. Each class has 19 abilities. Wait. Oh, so you're saying you get more skills later on down the road? Okay, well then that'll make it better then. Hey, Malthor, that'll make it better. I'm just saying right now, if you get more abilities, that'll certainly make it better. Yeah, I mean that's cool. If you get more skills, that'll be awesome. That'll make this game even better. So there's a total of 19. Oh, yeah, but no, but that doesn't count, though, Malithor. That doesn't count. I'm talking about abilities that you can have active, right? Now, see, that doesn't count. I'm talking about active abilities that you can use. Because now I would count those, Malithor, I would count those if you could swap your bar out, which I hate. Swapping bars is a terrible mechanic, and I very much hate it. But I don't think you can do that here, okay? Yeah, but you still don't have it because those are skills you can't use. You know, like, see, like, you can't take... Okay, let me show you. You cannot take a skill and put on these other bars. So you only ever can have 9 skills, you know, 8 skills plus the other, right? Which sucks. It's just not very many. I mean, it's still fun. It's a great combat system and all that, but... Yeah, you have other abilities, sure, but we can't use them. If I go in here and try to take, like, this ability and drag it to here, it's like, nope, you can't put that there. If I try to take it and drag it here, nope, you can't put that here, right? So, and these other slots, same thing. These are for, you know, you can't use these for anything other than potions and, you know, whatever, on-use items, basically. So your skills can only go here, so you're stuck with just those 8 slots. So you can sit there and say you have 18, 19 skills, but they're not active skills. You need to preface that with saying you have 18 to 19 skills to choose from, but you can only use 9 at once. Which I think sucks. And I wish... I hate the click to move, man. Oh, it could definitely be worse. I'm not bashing the game for its combat. The combat in the game is fantastic. I'm not even really bashing the game. I'm just saying I would prefer, personally, to have more than just 9 skills. You know what I mean? Because it gives more flavor. Like when you watch PvP, and I have watched some of the high-level PvP, you see a lot of the same rotations over and over again. It's more about picking your spots and teamwork than it is about really outplaying. I mean, there is, of course, a lot of outplaying, but a lot of it has to do with the you know, just picking your spots. Like if you're looking at 1v1 duels, because of the fact that you don't have that many skills and there's cooldowns associated with those skills, it's all about picking your moments, right? Like picking the right moment to do your rotations and hoping that you land them. You know, if you had more skills, that would make those particular 1v1 encounters a lot more dynamic and a lot more unpredictable, which in the end makes the game a lot more fun. That's what I'm getting at. Like Terra had more skills than just like 8, okay? And it was actually the PvP in Terra, in my opinion, in my mind, was more unpredictable. You know, there was a lot of movement involved in picking your spots too, but I just thought there's a little bit more variety because there was more abilities. I'm not even doing any questing. I'm just running around. Enjoying the combat. I'm just running around enjoying the combat because I love the Reaper so much. Well, let's go ahead and knock out some of these quests. Yeah, Rep Paladin. Oh my God. And yeah, I know what you mean though. Good God, terrible. Remember, hey Malthor? Yeah, you would create I would create my Protection Paladin, and I would be auto attacking all the way to like level 20. It felt like, you know. Oh man. Gabache Brusilblata or something. I'm sorry, I don't speak Russian. Well, you know, it's not necessary. Like, there's a lot of abilities you can give that have nothing to do with stagger, so... No, but that's not... No, that's not true. That's not true. You would... Okay, you can get around that really easily with basically cooldowns, and basically certain type of abilities just aren't going to chain well with others. There's a lot of abilities you can give that have nothing to do with combat, right? There's lots of skills that have nothing to do with combat. You're talking about buffs. You're talking about maybe movement abilities, maybe self-buffs, maybe shields that really have nothing to do with output damage, with your damage output. So there's a lot of stuff. Like when you look at the Bard class, like I was just looking at the Bard class of Rift, and she had about, what, 22 abilities? You know, most, like, 3 or 4 of those skills were finishers. Meaning that when she built up the combo points on her target, she would hit one of those skills to perform an effect, a finisher. It might do damage. It might buff herself. It might debuff her target. There's tons of skills you can do that have absolutely nothing really to do with direct damage. So that's saying that you can't balance it. Is just being like, that's like saying that the developers are fucking lazy, right? That's the gamers being lazy. Believe me, you can balance it. It ain't that hard. It's been done already. And you're right, though. It is 100% easier to balance it with so few skills. That is 100% true. But I would still rather see more skills. Ah. Ah, stupid isometric piece of shit view.
Печать силы? Нет, не припоминаю. Прошу, спасите пленников.
And apparently this game in Russia is not doing very well. Apparently Lost Ark in Russia is not doing very well. This is a great game with what I can say. It's the best combat system and PvP in all isometric, which probably true. I don't play a lot of isometric games. I hate them, but the combat's really good. So why I do think it's dying and why it will have success at the start of years will face the same problems like what we see. So a lot of people think this. They think that basically the game is going to start out successful in NAEU and then eventually it'll just die off. He said basically it's mostly people that only play PvP on the Russian server. The fact that they separated PvP from PvE completely didn't help with the state of the PvE. What do I mean by that? Well, now you can get all your skills from level 50 while playing Arena. You don't need to play PvE anymore. For me, this is a very good thing as a PvP lover, but it will make PvE become even more deserted to the point that you won't find a party anymore. So why is Lost Ark PvE suffering so much? Well, simply put, PvE is boring because gearing and progression is based on an outdated system, and while it still exists in most MMOs today, I don't think anyone can die the progression through a linear system without... Yeah, this is what I've been talking about for fucking years. I have been talking about what he said right here. I have been talking about this for years. Progression in an MMO through strictly gear on a linear level is completely outdated. It's completely outdated. People are tired. People don't even know they're tired of it. They think it's cool. They get in and they level up and they do dungeons, and guess what happens? It's like, oh, I get some gear. Oh, it's cool. And then I go to, oh, I upgraded my gear. It's cool. And then you get to the end of the dungeons, right? And you've got the best gear. Well, what do you do now? You have fucking nothing to do, right? You know, and people don't get that. You have to create an MMO that has all kinds of progression-based systems that have nothing to do with your fucking gear, right? This is the shit that people aren't understanding. And this guy gets it. I mean, you can see right here, you know, linear system where almost everyone uses the same items is boring, especially for a game that has such a fast-paced gameplay system. So you're going to, you know, and also especially when you have a game, especially when you have a game like this where the gear, it looks to me, and I'm not sure yet because I haven't gotten there, but it looks like everybody's got the same gear because I've watched the videos on gear progression. Everybody has the same gear sets. It's not like World of Warcraft. The one thing where World of Warcraft was so superior to a lot of MMOs is there was so much diversity in gear. There was so much gear. I mean, you could run into 1,000 different players in World of Warcraft who were all doing the exact same level 40 dungeon, and every single one had different You know, they didn't have the exact same gear as all the other ones. Like maybe the sum of all the gear amongst all of them was represented, but each person's gear was slightly different than every other person. There was so much variety, and that's what made WoW really good. But a game like this, where it looks like you're going through dungeons and you're getting the exact same, oh, we'll get the Argus set. Then you enchant it up to plus 15. Then you go into the next 3 dungeons and you get the set of gear from there. And then once you go through those 3, then you basically unstat. You basically change the stats of the gear to go for more crit-based stats. And then you go into the next 3 bosses, and then you upgrade that to plus 25. And then you go into the final dungeon and get that. You know what I mean? But everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's getting the same gear. It's fucking boring. It's boring. Everybody looks the same. Like, I could run around in this game and look at every character who is a Reaper and who is level 18, and guess what? She's going to look fucking almost identical to me. Like, her armor is going to look almost identical. And that kind of shit sucks. It just sucks. And it's not sustainable. People love Lost Ark because it's got beautiful art. Like this, and I'm not knocking, the art's fantastic. Some of the level design's fantastic. The combat's great, right? The dungeons are fun. At least they seem to be. I haven't done any of the raids. And I'm sure the PvP's really exciting. But once all of that shimmer and shine wears off, and you start looking that everybody's got the same gear, and everybody's doing the same stuff, and everybody understands what those stun rotations are, and what those stun lock combos are, and everybody understands, you know, all that stuff, it becomes really boring. It's going to become very boring. It's going to become very repetitive. The thing that kind of saves it is also the thing that hurts it in a way, is that there's tons of other stuff to do in the game, but it really isn't necessary. You know, it's cool, and you can get good stuff by doing reputation stuff, but it's a grind. I mean, you got to log it every single day, and you can only do a few. Like, you can go to a person and give them a gift, and you can go to a person and do an emote at them, and you can go to a person and play a song for them and get reputation with them, but you can only do that once a day. And I think there's other ways to get some bonuses applied to that, but it's still, you're going to have to do it day after day after day. Hey, what's up, Jawbone? And it's just, you know, those things are just kind of grindy systems. But, you know, you have to have... The problem is all the MMOs that we have are all based on systems that have been done over and over and over again. We need to come out with new MMOs that are a lot more unique and a lot more original. Okay, we got to stop having progression systems that are based entirely on gear. You know? I mean, some people love that, and some people are completely fine with that. And that's fine. But what have we seen over the past 20 years? We've seen MMOs come out and die very quickly. The reason I don't know why the Korean MMOs seem to last longer. Like, a lot of Korean MMOs, and they're getting to the point where they're not doing as well as they used to, you know? It used to be that Korea could put out an MMO and it would get popular and it would stay popular for like 5 or 6 years. But that's really not happening anymore. They put out, Revelation Online or some other MMO, and like maybe Alien, like even Alien came out in Korea, and it takes longer for those games to die in Korea than it does here. I don't know why, it just does. They seem to be more willing to do pay-to-win stuff there and they seem to be more willing to do grindy type systems. But Alien was popular in Korea for about a year, and then it fell off really quickly. Alien was popular here for about a month, and then it pretty much died. Just to show you the difference between the Korean market and the U.S. market. Basically the same game, mostly. Right? And they'd even changed the United States version game to be less grindy. Well, significantly less grindy, you know? So, until they really start getting more original with these MMOs, I just don't see... This game is not gonna be popular for more than... 2 years. Well, I mean, not even that long, because there's just too much competition coming out. There's too many good games. There's too many things that are in the hopper. It may take a while for those games to come out, but there's a lot of little games that are coming out. There's tons and tons and tons of anime MMOs coming out. There's a lot of builder MMOs coming out, and there's a lot of like Dark Souls type games coming out. There's a lot of stuff coming, and all those games will just slowly pluck people away from this game because people aren't going to want to log in every day to do the same shit. I got to log in, I got to go do this, I got to go log in, I got to go do that. Because getting the gear, and then if you guys even looked at the progression, like, have you guys looked at that? Oh my god, here, hold on a second. Where is it? Where is it?
Attachment for the game. So it's very important. Now let's examine the short summary of Lost Ark.
Okay, so here, I want to show you guys the progression in Lost Ark. I can show you, like... well, actually, there's a couple of things I want to show you. Where's the weapon? Did he do? I think he did it in this video. Let's see. Okay, so this is going to show you, like, how you have to enchant... how you have to get your gear enchanted, right? So you've got to get your gear to plus 25 for it to be, like, the best gear. At very, very end game in Lost Ark, okay? And this, we're going to go over that right now.
Lost Ark offers multiple upgrade mechanics that push your character forwards. Today, we will look on the main one, which is gear upgrading. Gear can be upgraded up to plus 25. To upgrade your equipment, you need these.
So let's look at this. To upgrade it to 100%, 100%. So you get, once you get to 7, 60, 45, 30, you get up to like 15, now you're looking at 10% chance. Once you get to 22, you have a 1% chance of success. At 24.5, not even a 1%. And I'm sure there's stuff that's going to add bonuses to this to make it easier to push this percentage up, but it's also going to cost you fucking money.
Equipment you need these
if you want to do it in any kind of a reasonable time, you know.
Ingredients: blue or red enchant crystals.
So these are all the things you need just to do like one enchant.
Crystals, citrine diamonds.
See the upgrade button? 874 crystals, 26 of these crystals, 20 of these. You need and then it's trying to go from level 22 to level 23.
Arctus crystals, sapphires, shards to fill your experience bar, and some gold. I don't want to go into great details for this experiment. We'll look only.
But this right here, this is one of the biggest reasons why this game won't last. Because people won't want to do this. The people that will do this are the people that are going to pay money. The people that are going to buy these crystals. Otherwise, if you don't buy the crystals, you have to farm the crystals. And this guy's going to show you how long that'll take.
On the citrine diamonds. Here is the list how much citrine diamonds you can collect per week from single character. Upgrading one piece of armor to maximum cost on average 8,150 citrine diamonds. As we have 5 armor pieces, this number needs to be multiplied by 5, leaving us with 40,750 citrine diamonds that need to be collected. On top of that, we need to also add the weapon, that is a bit more expensive and come with the cost 11,900 citrines on average. Maxing out your whole equipment will cost 50,650 citrines on average.
52,000.
This number may be
English obviously isn't his strong suit, so he does misspeak a lot of things here, but you can see if you add these up, it's 52.
Slightly higher or lower depending on your RNG. So, if you want to achieve max upgrade playing single character, it will take you 160 weeks.
So, and he said 160, but he probably meant 136. So what he's looking at is how many crystals you can get, you know, daily and weekly. So he's saying 60 crystals weekly, but you need 52,650, right? So let's take a look. Let's see, calculator. So let's say you need this many crystals and you get this many per week, right? So 52,650 divided by, 60? So this is how many weeks, is that, you know? And then if you divide that by, actually, why did he get 136? And I got, oh man, hold on a second. Total upgrade cost, 50,000. He says this is how many he gets per week. I thought that's what he said. Weekly. Although I don't know what this 385 is. Maybe he's doing something else. Let's say it's 385 then. Maybe it's 385. I'll see if I can get my numbers to match what he's saying here. Divided by, what is it, 385? Okay, yeah, so that's it. So he's saying you can get 385 of these citrine crystals in a week, right? So that's going to take you 136 weeks. Now, if we divide that by how many weeks are there in a year? What is it, 50, 52, 54? I should know this. I mean, so what, 2.6 years to get this? So do you think people in the game will have the best gear? Played for, 2.6 years or whatever it was. How many weeks in a year? 54, right? 54? Why can't I remember? I don't know why. 52. I guess it's 52. Anyways, whatever. The point is, it's going to take you hella long. So the people that are going to have to try to get their gear, the people aren't doing this. I guarantee you there's hardly anybody you're going to meet who said, I played Lost Ark for 2.5 years to finally get my gear maxed out. That's probably not happening. These people are probably, at some point, they're buying stuff from the cash shop.
That translates to 2 years and 10 months. But you should not forget about your alt characters. Unfortunately...
Oh, so here he's going to say that your alts actually can reduce this down.
Only citrines that are color-coded green on chart are transferable to your main character. White ones are character-bound to your alt character and cannot be traded. That leaves us with around 85 citrines per week. Please note that to harvest your alt characters, you need to upgrade them first. So yes, technically, you can get everything by playing, but before you maxed out your character,
so 112
game
weeks.
will introduce new patch, rendering your current set obsolete. As free-to-play player, you will never max out your character.
So what he's saying here is that when the content's released, you will never have enough time to get your gear maxed before the next piece of content comes out. So you will never be going into the next raids and stuff with max gear because you can't. You don't have enough time. Of course, people do because they're paying. They're going to the cash shop and they're buying these citrine crystals off the cash shop.
So now let's talk about progression that start on 10th chapter of the story, also known as Papunica. The exact time of progression is determined by how much alts you can pull off and frequency of released content on the server. Let's go, man.
I'll fast forward through this so you don't really have to watch the whole thing. Basically, what he's saying here is that you start off, you're going to get your character, you get your first blue set gear, you're going to start doing some heroics, you're going to get some purple gear. Then at this point, you're going to enchant your gear because you can't get into the Argos raids because your gear is not high enough item level. So you're going to enchant the gear you have here enough so that then the item level is high enough to gain you access to Argos. You're going to start getting the Argos gear. You're going to finish all your Argos gear through the 3 phases. And then here you're going to enchant your Argos gear up to the next higher level, so it's high enough item level to get you into the boss. These different bosses, which are called, I can't remember what they're called, generals. These 3 different generals. And then these guys are going to start dropping their gear. And same type of thing. You're getting your gear, then you're enchanting it and upgrading it until it's high enough item level gets the final boss, the Alberschild, and then you're done. That, for a normal player who's not using any pay-to-win mechanics, who's not buying anything, should take on average 7 to 10 months. Then if you look at this next line, what's happening is the developers of the game have, at this point, kicked off this blessing that's now active for all players, which gives you plus 20% upgrade chance and it reduces your material cost by 50%. And also, you can skip this entire section here because the Argos gear is now purchasable off the auction house. So instead of doing this dungeon, and all these, you just go you start off with your character, you get to 50, you go to the auction house, you buy the gear, then you go. So this second line is not cash shop, mind you. It's just regular playing the game without using the cash shop. So you go, but you do buy the gear off the auction house because he says it's not that expensive. And then once you get the gear, then you have to do whatever you can do to get the stuff to enchant it. So then you enchant the gear, and then the rest of this is the same. And so now you're 4 to 6 months. So just being able to get that gear off the auction house enabled you to skip, to trim 2 or 3 months. Then you get this bottom line, and this is where people are just using their credit card. And what they're doing is they're buying the Argo set right off the auction house. They're instantly enchanting it up to max level, and once it's max level, they jump straight. I think they enchanted all the way to plus 25, and I guess that's good enough to get you into. I don't know if he says the final raid or what, but he basically says you can skip like a lot of the shit because you're just buying the shit off the auction or buying shit off the store. He says that literally a player could go in and in one single day go from once you hit level 50, in one day from that point you could actually complete all the content in one day because you're basically just going to the store and spending tons of money on all the crystals, upgrading your gear instantly to the highest level it can be, and then going into these last dungeons and just getting them done in a day. Just knock them out. Boom, 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 done. So, I mean, this points to a huge problem in Lost Ark. The huge problem is fucking pay to win. People can literally swipe their credit card and just get the gear. And so the problem with these mechanics, and a lot of people are going to dispute this and say, well, it's not that big a deal because I'm just going to play it without buying any money and I'm going to enjoy myself and I'm going to have fun. And yes, you will enjoy yourself. Yes, you will have fun. But you can only do that maybe with your first character, because if it takes you 7 to 10 months to get your first character to here, and then you have to go and grab another character, by that time, a lot of players may have already left because a lot of players aren't going to want to do that. A lot of players aren't going to want to go 7 to 10 months to take their character through all the content because a lot of players, straight up, they're lazy. So by the time you get your first character to endgame, I guarantee you after 7, 10 months, Lost Ark will probably lose maybe half of its subscribers at least after 10 months. I would think at least half its subs will be gone. So then you're down to 500,000, which is still a lot of people, and it may be a lot worse. But when people start to see people using their credit card to get all the gear and get to endgame, they get frustrated. People start to get frustrated, like, this sucks. I'm spending months and months, and I'm here. My friend comes into the game, and he's already here. He's doing this raid. I'm doing this one. And it gets frustrating, and eventually people say, fuck it. I'll go play something else. This type of system causes that type of behavior. And so this game, if it does indeed play out the way this guy, who has seen this play out this way on the Russian servers, if it does play out this way, I don't think Lost Ark has a really bright future. But, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. It's doing good in Korea, but like I said, Koreans don't seem to mind the pay-to-win mechanics as much. The other thing that was interesting about the video is they've pulled a lot of the content out of the game. A lot of the content that was in the original Korean client is not in the North American client. There's literally like huge chunks of content that is just gone. They've just pulled it right out. Why have they done that? I'm not 100% sure, but they have done it. I love it when he says Papunica. The Papunica content. There's a little delay because this is the Russian server, so there's a little bit of a latency issue. So sometimes my moves don't quite pull off the way I want them to. I'm going a little bit faster than the latency, will allow, so. Oops, wrong key, wrong key. I love those lifts are really cool. Oh, I hate it when you do your dodge and it gets stuck. Amon-Ra! Sounds like she's yelling out my cat's name. Amon-Ra! You already completed that quest. Damn you. Oh, there's the latency right there. Oh, I know what I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting the barrels. Forgetting the barrels! We must crush the barrels. Amon-Ra! No, 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 don't do that, Papunika!
Что там произошло? Это из-за тебя столько шума? Надо же в одиночку такой переполох устроить. А ты не помнишь, среди пленников была девушка? Стройная, пышногрудая, глаза руфинитовые, а в волосах костяной гребешок.
I think it's interesting, the Russian client is, look how much money I have. I'm level 18 and I have more money than my other account, than my North American account, which has like a level 45 and like a level 20, like an 18, a 24, a 20, and yeah, you make money on this client. It's because this client's dying. It's because the Russian Lost Ark in Russia is literally dying. And so they're trying to do stuff to, you know, to encourage people to keep playing. So the rewards, like when you log in, you get tons of rewards, man. The login rewards are a lot more significant. You know, by going to the mail system, you know, look, they're giving me like this kind of Temper Masters small chest. I mean, look at all these crystals that are in here, and I'm not getting this on the North American client. Let's see, attendance. I think I pissed people off. Hey, Joe, I don't know if you're there, but I think I pissed everybody off in the chat. Bad mouthing Lost Ark. It's just another game. I just think Korean games, the way they approach them, it's very difficult to. People don't like RNG based progression, and I think progression systems that are linear with gear are just a little bit of an outdated concept. So. Okay, what's going on? What is going on?
Кого они у тебя забрали? Меня Латифом звать. А тебя как? А как пишется? Я не из праздного любопытства спрашиваю. Вдруг сегодня снова в ночь пойдем. Ты от Латифа? Я когда увидел Латифову дочурку, худенькая, лопоухая, глаза большущие, у меня сердце сжалось. На нее кандалы цепляют. Сегодня
Valiant, what's up, dude? How you doing, man? Not much. I'm just mucking around playing the Reaper on the Russian Lost Ark client. Just mucking around. Ah, no, 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 no. About to go outside and enjoy the snow. Oh, nice. I love snow, man. I love myself some snow. Snow. Oh, yeah. No, stop shooting me. Come on. Trying to find the rogue boss. Oh, he just killed him. Shit. He just killed the rogue boss. This asshole here is fucking up my questing. It's almost like he's doing it on purpose. He's just sitting there. Jagreem! Amon-Ra! How's it going, Jagreem? Look at these people in there. The other thing I don't get is why people are running around. And look, see, I can't get this quest done because they keep killing him. The other thing that I don't get is why people run around in these stupid like outfits. And yet it's supposed to, it's like the trendy thing. I understand in Korea people do it because Koreans are weird. Look. Yeah, they won't let me get the quest done. It's like they're griefing me right here. See that? They just do not want me to get that quest done. I'm not gonna make it now yet. It's going okay. I'm getting tired of the game, to be honest. I'm getting tired of the isometric view. Every time I start to have fun, the isometric view rears its ugly head. And it just starts to make me not have fun because it's like, ugh. Click to move. Click to move. Ugh. That and just the small zones. Bonk. Run over here. Bonk. You know what I mean? Everything's so tiny. Bonk. Bonk. You know, there's not any. This is like the opposite end of what an open world, open world game would be, Yeah, I might play some Rift. I might play some Rift this week. It'll be nice to get in a third-person view, view again. Like, woohoo, third-person view! Oh my god, I can actually see the screen. Oh, what did I upgrade? I think I upgraded my legacy. Yeah, I upgraded my legacy level. Oh, yeah, I play some Rift, but I'm talking about maybe putting together a membership for my channel. But I don't know what you guys would want. Like, would you guys be willing to pay? Like, would anybody want to pay like $2 a month or something if they got like, your own badges in the chat, or if you got like access to emojis, or would you want videos specific to content you guys want to see? Maybe you want to see videos on a specific MMO, or maybe reviews of games, or I don't know. I need to come up with something that people would want, I know Jawbone had mentioned it. He's mentioned it several times, actually. And, yeah, it's something I've been thinking about for a long time. I just haven't really known, what tier levels to create and what to put in them. So. Yeah, I'm done playing Rift, or Lost Ark with this one. Yeah. Yeah, you get some... But I gotta come up with some stuff, We'll have to come up with something. Let's see if we go to Rift. Look at this. Wow, check this out. Only 1.6 players have unlocked Path of the Expert Forager. Damn, I'm good. Yeah, right. This is so funny. Oh, guys, I'm tired. I just wish, I would just kill for them to put out, like, I would love to see Terra be. I mean, God, there's so many MMOs that have been destroyed by companies that just don't understand what made their MMOs good. Like Terra was such a good game, and on release, and even within, I've said for years that they ruined the game with the very first patch, very first major adjustment to the difficulty of the game, pretty much ruined the game right off the bat. And it's amazing how many times I've seen comments of people saying, "Yeah, the game was so challenging and fun the first couple weeks, then they started nerfing the content." I'm like, "Yep," and they just continued nerfing it into the ground. You might want to try out the Season of Mastery. Every time I try to play WoW, all these bad feelings come up now when I play World of Warcraft because of all the shit that's going on with the company and how bad they've managed the company. It's hard for me to play because I just get frustrated and angry. I think that's why you don't see Asmongold play WoW that much anymore, because I think he feels the same way I feel, that you look at it and you just get frustrated. You're like the parts of the game that were fun aren't fun anymore because people boost and people buy gold, and they just do all these kind of like pay to win mechanics, and so it devalues like the effort you put into the game. Like I used to really enjoy leveling 100 bonus XP. Yeah, I know. I knew they were going to do that. I saw it. I'm not sure how. I think that's just a way to compete with the fact that people don't want to level anymore in MMOs, and I talked about this the other day. People have, and the reason they don't want to level, and it's so easy to tell you why. It's because it's the same thing with Lost Ark. What I was just talking about with Lost Ark. Well, if people have the ability to pay to progress, then the people that don't have the ability to pay get frustrated, because it's no fun if 60% of the player base is at level 60 in Season of Mastery and you're at level 30, right? Because they, paid for boosts, or they had, you know what I mean? They basically just paid for boosting. Or they have someone to level their character for them. I don't know, which I guess that's valid, but, but it's not so much in Season of Mastery that you see that as much as retail WoW. In retail WoW, people like paying for Mythic Plus keys, people paying for arena rating, people paying for whatever. They pay for everything. And then you saw it in, it got so bad in World of Warcraft Classic and World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic, because people were buying boosting. They were buying boosting, so they weren't even leveling their characters. They would just sit in the dungeons while people cleared the dungeons, and they would get leveled up. But I don't understand it. It's so easy to fix that. And I don't know why Blizzard doesn't just fix it. It's so easy to fix. All you have to do, and I've said this so many times, it's not fucking rocket science. You just have, when you have a group for like a dungeon like Stockades, it's level like 20, let's say it's 22 to 27, right? Like the minimum level is 22, the maximum level we can go in is 27, theoretically, right? Because Blizzard doesn't prevent you. Blizzard says, oh, you can construct a party. If they don't prevent the max level. They just prevent the min level, right? You can only go into the dungeon. You can't go to the dungeon if you're less than 22. But if you're like 60, we don't care. So what you do is you just say, if there's anybody in the 5-person group that is within the level range of the dungeon, then nobody outside the level range of the dungeon can be within the dungeon. Okay? You do that, and boosting is dead. Okay? There's no boosting, because a level 60 could not go into a group with players that are level 22 or level 23 or level 24. Now, if everybody in the group is above the level cap, right, of, let's say it's 25, 27, then that's fine. If two people want to run a Stockades and clear it and they're both level 50, who gives a shit? If one player is level 60 and they want to farm it for some item they want to sell in the auction house, or just because they want some sort of transmog, again, who cares? But once someone in the group, in the 5-man group, is within the level range of the dungeon, nobody in that group can be outside the level range of the dungeon. All Blizzard has to do is that one simple fix, and you kill boosting. You absolutely destroy boosting. And it just blows my mind that Blizzard is so stupid that they can't do something so simple. I'm a software developer. I write code for a living. And I guarantee you that would be easy for them to implement. See, it'd be easy, you know? It wouldn't even be difficult. But you know, it's Blizzard. You know, they're just, you know. So let's check this out, guys.
3 price point options. First, you'll need to set up your membership offer.
We got to set up a membership offer.
You can add up to 5 levels
with a level of perks.
And each level
okay.
will have a different monthly price that you set. We recommend having at least 3 price point options for potential members. Low, middle, and...
All right. And what's funny is if you look at, let's see.
Is like 1-7.
Hey guys, I wanted to make a video today.
So Asmongold did a video today on the biggest problem with WoW. Let's see what he says. And is he right?
And talk to you all about one of the biggest, if not the biggest problem in World of Warcraft right now. And that is the accessibility of being able to play on alts. And
you feel like streamers like AMSO or the big ones just get fed and have nothing but times to play, so it makes everyone else feel like, yeah, that's true. I mean, Asmongold gets, like, it's funny when Asmongold goes in and plays an MMO, like, for the first time. Like, if any new MMO comes out, and Asmongold says, I'm going to play that, his army of players, by the time he logs in, are already in the game ready to and willing to just feed him, give him gold, give him gear, give him whatever he needs. You know what I mean? It's sad, really. I mean, it's nothing you could do about it, right? But yeah, it's pretty awful, you know, especially a game like Lost Ark, which, you know, people who, the game's been out for a couple years, so there's certain people that know the game inside and out. So he comes into the game, you got these people who know the game inside and out. Within a couple days, they've already got max level characters, or maybe they just log in and swipe their credit card because they're just god awful rich. The funny part about it is, it's not like Asmongold's hurting for money. It's not like the guy makes millions a year, millions, and you know he can certainly afford to buy his own shit. So when people give Asmongold stuff, I don't get it. Like, I'm married. I have a wife who had a heart attack. You know, I got medical bills and shit, you know? And I'm not begging people for money, you know what I mean? I mean, I did do a fundraiser for my wife, but that was for a good reason. She actually did die. Her heart stopped. They had to shock her back to life. But yeah, so when people give Asmongold money in games and stuff, or they pay for him to get stuff, I don't get that, because the guy's got millions of dollars. It's not like he can't just buy it himself. You know, it's weird.
And in general, the barriers to entry that the game creates in regards to wanting to play on an alt. And the reason I'm making this video is because, number one, I'm not streaming today, so I have time. And number two, also, I've gone through a lot of the information about patch 9.2, and I've gone through all of the stuff about the systems, the content.
He needs to brush his teeth. I mean, his teeth are... He's losing his teeth. I mean, you can see how they're yellowing here, and like you can see his gums are going up. That's because he's got gum disease, you know, gingivitis,
etc.
I mean, see his teeth here? See how, like, you've got, like, the tops of his teeth are getting holes in him here, and they're all yellow. And see how his gums are so high up? You can see the spaces way up top. And you can see the plaque buildup down here. Dude, this guy needs to take better care of his teeth. He's already lost, like, multiple teeth. If he doesn't take care of his teeth within, like, 10 years, you're going to see him lose, like, a lot of his teeth.
And I see Blizzard.
We're going to have Asmongold. He's not just going to be the bald streamer. He's going to be the bald gummy streamer. He's going to have, like...
the same mistake that they've made repeatedly now ever since.
Yeah, he gets insecure. Yeah.
Is a lot of these systems that you will be progressing in patch 9.2 will not be fully account-wide. They will have pseudo-account-wide features that make them easier to do on alts. But I don't know about you guys, I don't want to do them at all, more than once. I think that doing these systems once is totally fine, and I think that doing them twice or 3-4 times, that's whenever things become a lot less fun. So I wanted to talk to you all about how I think this problem is managed.
So what he's saying here is one of the biggest problems with World of Warcraft is he's saying that there's systems in place, like, for example, the Covenant systems in Shadowlands, where people have to spend all this time unlocking the Covenant or unlocking certain things, and then when they create an alt character, the alt character has to go and do the exact same things. What he wants is that when someone unlocks something that it's just account wide. So like if I unlock a certain Covenant, or for another example, if I unlock a certain race, like a certain what are those races called in World of Warcraft? I can't remember. Like faction races or allied races or whatever. If I unlock one of those, it should automatically be unlocked for all my other characters. If I get a specific mount in the game, like if I do like a dungeon and some boss drops a mount and I get it on my character, it should be like once again unlocked on all my characters on my account. That's what Asmongold said. Excuse me, that's what he's saying. He wants this shit to be all account based.
Manifested over the years and what Blizzard can do to solve it. So I think the problem initially began was in Mists of Pandaria, because Mists of Pandaria was where the divergence occurred between, in Cataclysm you could play any character you want, you just get the gear for it and you play the character. It's really just that fucking easy. And for Mists of Pandaria and also WoD, this was true for PvP as well. But obviously in Legion onward that became a little bit less true. Anyway, so in Mists of Pandaria, this is for PvE, you were able to get your legendary cloak. And I don't know about you guys, but as soon as I got my legendary cloak on my warrior, it made me a lot less incentivized and a lot less wanting to play on other characters, because I've invested all of this time.
Yeah.
I have this massive power advantage on my main character, and I don't want to go and repeat farm the same resources and the same items in order to get this this advantage on my alt characters. And I know what some people are going to say. They're going to say, so you just want everything to be for free for your alts? Yes. That's right. That's exactly what I'm asking for. That is exactly what I want. I want to be able to play my alt character and not have to progress any secondary max level systems at all outside of actually getting the gear and doing the content that I'm playing the game and playing that alt to do. I do not want to farm tower knowledge on a second character. I do not want to farm renown on a second character. I didn't want to farm Azerite power on a second character. I didn't want to do any of these things, and I don't think that I'm alone either. I think that more and more you see people that they see all these systems, and this is something Blizzard, as I said, Blizzard did in Mists of Pandaria with the cloak. They did after that in WoD with the ring, which was even more powerful comparatively.
Well, and I don't really disagree with Amir. I mean, I think a lot of these systems I think they're shitty to begin with. I mean, a lot of them, like the Azerite power and stuff, and I don't like a system that says I've got an item, but now I'm going to continually make that item more powerful, because again, I always think of, when I think of how an MMO should work, when I think about how an adventure should work, because really an MMO to me is a fantasy adventure. That's what it should be. We all came from at least I did. I came from playing Dungeons and Dragons, and a lot of us came from liking fantasy novels, maybe liking the Lord of the Rings, or liking some sort of adventure games, like Skyrim or whatever, and we like the idea of our characters getting stronger, but I don't think that always means that you're going to get armor and then you're going to somehow like make that armor better. Like if you think about medieval times, or you think about even Dungeons and Dragons, there are ways to make things better. Like, so for example, in medieval times you really did. You might have like bronze armor, and then you might upgrade to like some steel armor or something. You might have like a copper sword or a bronze sword, and you might upgrade to like a fine steel blade or something. And then you think about Dungeons and Dragons, and you might have like same thing. You might have like a really crappy, rusty sword, and then maybe you kill a monster and he drops like a fine longsword. It's just not rusty. It's well made from a good blacksmith, and so it does a little bit more damage. Instead of that die 4 damage for your rusty sword, it's going to do a die 6 damage, right? 1 to 6 damage, because it's a fine longsword. It's better quality. And then maybe you have a magic user that comes along and says, you know what, I can enchant your weapon, but it's going to cost you like 5,000 gold. All right? Maybe you find them in a town or in a city, and so then you have to figure out, how am I going to get 5,000 gold to enchant my weapon so it's like a +1 longsword? Now it's going to do 1 to 7 damage, all right? Or maybe, 2 to 7 damage. It's +1 to the roll. And, and then that becomes something that you work towards. Oh, I need to get 5,000 gold. But what they're doing, the MMOs, especially specifically really what Blizzard does, is they add these dumb systems in there that says, I've got to do like these daily quests over and over again to get reputation up, to maybe unlock something that I need to then use for an enchant, or maybe I need to unlock the enchant itself, because in Mist of Pandaria you had to do all this stupid bullshit faction shit just so you could get the enchantment, which was considered one of the best DPS enchantments for a weapon, right? I don't really think that that's the best way to go about it. I think you're better off integrating something in the game, like maybe finding a magic user, finding a character in game who can give you the enchantment for your weapon, or can teach you the enchantment if you're an enchanter, but there's a story around it, or maybe you just have to find him, or do something for him, something that's a one-time thing. Maybe it's a long quest, maybe it takes you a couple days to get the quest done, but that's it. It's not like you're logging in every day doing repeatable boring shit. I want you to log in and run over to this zone in Mist of Pandaria and kill these monsters, run over that island and kill those monsters, and then, you know what, guess what, I want you to do it again tomorrow and tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day for like 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe a month. And then you'll finally have your reputation high enough that you can buy this scroll or this enchantment recipe. Yeah, I don't like that. I think that's a bad system. And so Asmongold's talking about, one of the things he's talking about is just unlocking it for all your characters. And I think that's okay. But I think there's a lot more wrong with World of Warcraft than just those. I mean, those systems I think are the biggest problem, some of the biggest problems. But to me, the biggest problems in WoW are the pay-to-win mechanics and the boosting. To me, those are the #1 problems. You've got to stop the boosting. You've got to stop people paying for shit. You got to stop people, paying for in-game like carries on Mythic Plus, because it devalues the achievement for everybody else who didn't pay to win, right? Why do I want to go into an arena team and go up against other teams that are all being carried? Like, I have no idea. I mean, like, I could be going up against a team that's, 2,200 rated, and I'm 2,000 or whatever, and they're all just being carried by pro fucking, like, by arena players that are, 3,000 rated arena players skill level wise. Skill level wise, these guys are like way up there. They're really good, and so I'm going up against guys that are like way higher because they're carrying somebody, and that just makes you not want to do arena. The same thing with Mythic Plus, although I've never had any interest in doing Mythic Plus, to be honest. But there's a lot of problems, and I could talk about it for a long time. Asmongold's talking about a specific barrier to certain gear in the game, or certain certain systems are being blocked by repetitive content that has to be done on one character, and once it's unlocked on that one character, then if you create your alt has to also unlock it. He's saying that he doesn't like having to do it twice, which I think a lot of people don't like having to do it once. But we need to make the MMOs like more story based. There needs to be a better story. There needs to be a better reason to be doing what you're doing, other than I'm just going because Blizzard told me I got to run over here and do this stupid 3 quests every day. That is not a good reason for a system to exist in an MMO.
Because it gave your group a bonus, and then in Legion, that's whenever things really got insane. And then you have like 3 or 4, like you have your artifact weapon, you have your legendaries, you have your it was artifact knowledge at that time that at the beginning was not account wide, and you had a bunch of other things too. I just can't think of them right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
That were these player specific systems or character specific systems that in a way disincentivized you from being able to play an alt, because if you went to play an alt, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have these advantages, and you had to go farm them again on that alt character. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't think most people find that fun. I think that a lot of these systems are effectively just busy work, and I think that...
Yeah, that's basically all. The rest of this video is pretty much him talking about how... basically that's the whole video. He spends the next 14 minutes basically just rehashing the same shit over and over again, that the systems are boring, they're repetitive, and, this is stuff I've talked about for years. I mean, I've literally talked about this shit for years. Anybody who's been on my my channel for a long time or watched my content, or lack thereof, will know that I've bitched about this shit for quite a while. So I think another thing that we run into, which is interesting, is I think MMOs in today's world are almost too complicated sometimes. Well, I definitely think they're too complicated for Lost Ark, like the enchanting system and stuff are just overly complicated, really with no reason. Like, the like what I was saying about with like having a magic user enchant your blade, there should be stuff that's story based. If you think about Star Wars: The Old Republic, when you first got your lightsaber, there was a great story around getting the crystal you needed to put into your weapon to make it like a lightsaber, right? And that's kind of the stuff I'm talking about. That's the type of stuff that should exist in the game. It should be a quest or part of the story that tells something about your character or tells something about the world. And it's just a one-time thing. Yeah, it may take you a couple days, 2, 3, 4 days of doing quests, but that's cool. It's part of the story, you know? Like when they did this whole artifact weapon, that they had a story around the quest to get the weapon, which I didn't have a problem with that at all. I thought that was kind of cool. But then once you got the weapon, you had to do repetitive stuff every day to farm artifact power to keep pumping that into the weapon to make it stronger. And that's the problem. Blizzard keeps making these systems that just get people to log in and do boring stuff because they just want them to keep playing the game. They don't want them to quit the game. They're afraid if they make stuff more like the way I'm talking, that everybody will just Google the solution on the web and everybody will know exactly how to do the quest. They'll fly through them and then they won't have anything to do and then they'll quit the game. But that's not what would happen if you actually just continued to make good content that made the players enjoy the game and want to play with other players too. And there's the major problems with MMOs today is that people don't want to level anymore. People don't want to put effort into the game anymore. And these pay-to-win mechanics are one of the biggest reasons for that. And also the barrier, some of the barrier to entries is also people don't want to spend time. They're worried about everybody being so far ahead of them and there's no catch-up. But you can put catch-up mechanics in these games that don't require, that don't ruin the game, for people. I mean, like when you played Classic World of Warcraft, it took you like a good, 3 months. It took most players about 3 months to level their character to 60, right? Because they were learning the game, they were exploring, they were playing some different characters, some different alts. But it was all a really fun experience, And then I think I forgot where I was going with all this, but it was a very fun experience for them. And then, but now, I think people have lost that. They've lost that will to want to explore and enjoy the leveling experience. And I think the biggest problem is because there are people that are paying for some sort of an advantage, be it gold or in the cash shop items, that allows them to somehow progress at a faster pace. And I think another one of the worst problems with the human race in general, of course, is jealousy. And I think in MMOs it's a huge issue, is that people get jealous of other players who have a better stuff and better gear. And I see it on posts. I see it on Reddit posts. I hate Reddit, by the way, but I see it on Reddit posts where someone will say, like okay, for example, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. I'm in the Champion Pledged forum because I'm a Champion Pledge for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. That means I've pledged over $500 towards the game, right, to be a champion. So it's the only MMO I've ever put that much money into before the game's even out, right? So I put over $500 in it. So some guy on the Champion forum had said, hey, you know what would be a great idea? Why don't we create a champions, like, a champion server? So when the game launches, there's one specific server that's just champions, people who've pledged this much money. And I'm thinking, this is one of the worst ideas I have ever heard. I mean, you're basically segregating the community because you think, I mean, the guy may not have said it outright, but he's basically saying, we're better than everybody else because we're champions, so we need our own server. I mean, this is the mentality of so many gamers where it's all about, am I better than you? Am I better? And there was a great video, and actually we were watching part of it earlier, and I thought it was just fantastic, and I'm going to go back and show you guys this video in a second. But this is part of the problem of MMOs, is that people think that the goal is to be better than somebody else, and the goal is to brag and flaunt your EPing. And that's sure, everybody's going to have some sense of accomplishment and some sense of well-being and feeling like they did something that they achieved and it was difficult. The problem is none of these tasks in these MMOs are really that difficult. And it's more about, a lot of them have been reduced down to speed. Who can get there first? And that's what that's how they're measuring. It's also the whole like thing with speed running levels of like Dark Souls and shit, which also I'm not a fan of that either. I'm not a fan of speed leveling because again, it's just, I mean, I think it's cool that you can somehow figure out how to speed level through content and bypass things. I think it's neat, but it's not something I'm really going to watch, you know? And but I think that this is just a problem with the MMO gamer, you know, in general. But to get that stuff beaten out of people is going to be really difficult, and it's going to require what I think is a complete paradigm shift in the way MMOs are played. You know, I think we need to change the way these games are played. I mean, drastically change them. You know, like make it so that leveling, like levels, isn't the goal. Make it so that gear, you know, getting the best gears is not the main goal of the game. It's still a goal. It should still be a sub goal, but it shouldn't be like the main goal. Now, I don't know how you're going to take leveling out, and honestly, I don't think you should take leveling out. I think leveling should be there. I think leveling should be unlimited. I think every MMO you play, there should be no level cap. I think it should just be like in Dungeons and Dragons, it took so much experience to get from level 1 to level 2. But once you reach, like, I don't know if it was like level 25, then it was, after that point, it was like 1,125,000 experience to level 26. And to level 27, it was 1,125,000 experience to level 27. You know what I mean? And it just stayed the same. And Black Desert does it to some degree. You know, you can keep leveling in Black Desert, but it's really, really slow. And I think you get slight benefits from being a little bit higher level than other people. It might affect your percentage. I like that system. I actually do. I mean, I think that it's kind of bad for the people that are min-maxers or the hardcore, the no-lifers, because they're going to keep playing it over and over and over until they're about falling dead from exhaustion. But that's their problem. You know, if they want to kill themselves, you know, that's their problem. But I do like that you don't limit the game. You don't say, well, you can only get to 50. You know, just, you know, there's nothing wrong with letting people continue to level. Just make it slow like Black Desert. You know, and then what you do is you have to try to make it such that you can pace the content. You know, that the content that you're rolling out for the game, you try to somehow pace it such that as people are leveling up, it keeps pace, hopefully with the leveling. But you know, it's definitely a dance, and it's certainly not going to be easy. But you have to put stuff in the game that makes people, that diverts them away from leveling, but that they want to do that. That there's really fun events and things that they can do. That, you know, maybe I don't know, participating in town events, like maybe there's a archery contest, or maybe there's an arena where people fight in the arena. But make the goal some sort of, maybe make it faction based, or maybe make it all part of your character's story. Like maybe each character that you create has some sort of professions that he chooses, and based on a bunch of myriad of indicators, it'll open up a specific quest line that's tailored to him. A lot of games have tried this, and I don't think any games have ever been very successful at it for MMO, to try to custom tailor quests based on parameters. I think we need a lot more. I think another thing we could do with MMOs is make the character creation way more involved and way more intricate, and I mean way more involved. Like, you'll go to the fact of, more stuff about like where you start off, like what city was your character start off in, and maybe even giving your character the chance to choose, kind of like Guild Wars 2 does, but make those choices really, really meaningful. Like if you choose to be, like, for example, I always go back to Stormbringer, the role-playing game, very like Dungeons & Dragons style game, right? Stormbringer, really cool game. But if you create a character in the Weeping Waste who began in the Weeping Waste, you had bonuses to your character stat rolls, right? So a character created in the Weeping Waste had like +2 to Constitution, +2, but it had a -2 to Charisma. Living in the waste, and the sun and the dry air obviously wasn't good for their charisma. But that's what I'm saying. I think that would be another really interesting thing to do with MMOs, is to create a much more in-depth, involved character creation system that involves what city do you start in, what kind of upbringing did you have, what's your goal, like what skills do you want to have, or what skills do you think that you already have outside of your normal class skills, right? And I always call these like life skills. Does your character know how to pick pockets? Does your character, maybe you have a choice of picking 3 out of like 40 different skills. Let's say there's 40 different skills, and when you create your character, you can say these are like secondary skills, and you get to pick some of those. Maybe some of them are like fucking basket weaving. I don't know. Some of them are like, picking, like I said, picking a pocket, picking locks. I don't know, repairing armor, repairing leather. Maybe you're good at repairing leather. Maybe you're good at cooking food, even just something like that. Maybe you're a good cook. You know, whatever. Maybe you're good at upkeeping, you know, weapons, and maybe you're good at fixing things. Maybe you're very intelligent, and so you're good at identifying the solution to problems, which gives you a chance to have some sort of a perception-based system in the game similar to Pantheon, where you might be able to see something in certain encounters, you know? Is this... What is this, Muhammad? Does this have a RMT market? I'm not sure what RMT market... I'm not sure what you mean by RMT market, but I did want to show you this video. And it was the same one. It was Divian Fury, but it was one that I was watching earlier. Actually, it was on my history. It was in my history. It's...
Finally.
It's this guy, and I had never actually watched this streamer before, this Xenosys Vex, but I gotta tell you, I like this guy, you know, and I'm pretty picky with who I like, but I like this guy because he's straight up honest, and I love some of the stuff he says.
Build base Argos set, and we
You want to try to play and work?
challenge phase.
Ah.
Or crit them.
As good as it sounds, I'm gonna imagine it costs a lot of resources to upgrade your shit. Let's compare it to Ion and Terra, because those are Korean games.
And phase 3. Farm some
I'm trying to find the spot where he yells at the people in his stream.
Have to AFK on your...
Take you one day.
To the point. So you can just straight buy... Fucking idiots anymore, dude. You guys are stupid. Oh, hey, there's... Ding dong! Question! Care. The NA release is like fucking never played a Korean game in the... Oh, hey, there's... Ding! The best way to play Lost Ark is not...
Offers multiple...
So this is just...
Where is it? Where is it?
Chart.
I should have put it.
If you like it, then that's fine. But the average person will never in the tank. It's unbelievable. Like, dude, it's okay. It's a year and 2 months.
Okay, so I showed this video earlier where he's talking about how long it's going to take to you to get all your gear enchanted in Lost Ark and get it up to like max, and how long it's going to take. Listen to what he says here. I actually like what he says here.
Just say it takes a year. Is that a reasonable amount of fucking time? Nah, guys, but those are the Korean values. Over here, we get the deal, which is a year. That's still okay with some of you. Some of you are so deep in the tank, it's unbelievable.
So he's like, some of you are so deep in the tank, it's unbelievable.
Like, dude, it's okay. It's fine to have fun in a pay-to-win game, but don't fucking pretend that this is okay.
Yeah.
It's not. If you like it, then that's fine. But the average person will never fucking do this. Never. Are you?
And so this is, I love this part of the video, because what he's saying is, in Lost Ark, this Russian guy has kind of laid out all of the crystals you're going to need to upgrade all your gear to the max to plus 25, and it's going to take all these crystals based on how many crystals you can get. We talked about this earlier in the stream already. It's going to take, like, even with your alts, the crystals you're getting from your alts, so you're getting a total of, like, what, 470 per week. So you divide that into your 52,006, and it comes out with, like, 112 weeks or something, right? 112 weeks. You know, so that's like 2 years or something. So even more than that, isn't it? And what he's saying here is the average player is not going to want to play a game for 2 years just to get their gear to max, right? The average player won't do that. He's 100% correct.
Are you kidding me? It doesn't matter if you're okay with it. This is fucking horrible.
Horrible.
You have to think about people with jobs. You have to think about people with kids. You have to think about people that can't poop sock this game every day.
And I like, he calls, I learned a new term today watching this video. He says poop sock. And what he's talking about is swiping your credit card. He calls that poop sock, which is funny. I never heard that before.
For more than a year. This is why Korean games die over here. Like, holy shit. I'm over here complaining I had to fucking run my 2 characters to get 450 tomes. And I poop socked Final Fantasy.
He just said he poop socked Final Fantasy, so he was swiping his credit card in Final Fantasy. I don't know what for, but for something.
there's some people that don't even have enough time to cap on Final Fantasy. I can't believe that there were like a couple people in chat that were like, nah, dog, it's cheaper over here. It's faster. Okay, so what? It takes more than a year? You guys really think that's a reasonable amount of fucking time? Holy shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus Christ. Never type in my chat again.
I love that. I love that. He's just like, never type in my chat again.
It's per week. Please note that to harvest your alt characters,
yeah, so that was a pretty good video, but I think, you know, it's so funny because I've talked about all these systems and all the issues with MMOs over the past probably 2 years. I've talked about this stuff, and now we're starting to finally see other people and other streamers are starting to say what I've been saying. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I've been talking about how the linear progression of these systems based on only gear progression is an old system, and we need to get away from that. And I think people are starting to finally say that. You know, people are starting to, you know, it's so loud and clear. You know, I think people are finally starting to see this. I think people didn't understand why MMOs kept coming out and failing. They kept thinking, well, the MMOs are bad. Well, they really aren't that bad. Like, if you looked at like some of the MMOs that come out, they weren't that bad. But the problem is you've raised the bar. It's that higher level. Like, I joke about it with my wife all the time. It's like there was a TV show we watched where this couple drank this really shitty wine, and they were okay with that wine, right? And then someone came in and got invited to come to their house and have dinner with them, and they brought like $100 bottle of wine. Well, the couple drank the $100 bottle of wine and said, and then they said, "This is awesome wine." Then they went back when their guests left, and 2 weeks later they pulled out their shitty bottle of wine. They started drinking it, and they were like, "This sucks, right? This wine's just shit." So that's what happened. They moved them up to a newer wine bracket. Well, that's what happens with MMOs. Like you had some MMOs that were out there, like EverQuest or whatever, but you had something like Lineage 2 or Lineage, and you know these old MMOs. Then you had World of Warcraft came out, and it was really good, and it was great. It had all this cool stuff. It was a great game. Then games start coming out like Guild Wars 2, and then you have some games like Terra, and then you know different games come out, and they weren't big hits overall, but they introduced little pieces that were good systems. And so we keep raising the bar, we keep raising the bar, we keep raising the bar, but now nobody's raising the bar anymore. Okay, all the games that are coming out, all the MMOs that are coming out, there's nothing really new in any of them. You know, Lost Ark doesn't really do anything any different. If you look at the enchantment system, it's the same kind of shit. It's Korean MMO. It's the same kind of shit that was in Ion for enchantment. It's the same kind of shit that was in Terra, right? There's nothing really innovative about the game. Okay, we've all seen player housing before. We've all seen time-gated content. We've all seen like reputation type stuff, faction, reputation, whatever you want to call it. We've all seen that stuff. You know, we've seen ship combat to some degree, or ships. There's no real combat in the ships that I've seen yet in this game. You know, the game's a good game because it's executed well. The combat's smooth. The graphics are crisp. The level design is very nice. Some of the zones are very pretty to look at. But other than that, everything else is pretty much, nothing's new about the game. But you still have this tired old system that's very new that's very common for free-to-play games, which is the pay-to-win shit, right? Especially in Korean games. And it's just not going to work. You know, these games won't work in the US, not long-term. The US, most players in the US, like what he was saying in his video, they don't want to spend 2 years getting their gear, and they really don't want to spend thousands of dollars to make it faster. Some people will, because some people just have a lot of extra cash. They can afford it, but most people won't. Yeah. Yeah, the point is the deal or not. Yeah, I know. That's the thing, Mohammed. It's like it's pretty simple, you know? And what they need to come out with a game. And it's very difficult. The challenge for MMOs is a big challenge. It's a big one. And I think you see games that come out that aren't MMOs that are successful. Like you talk about a game like Elden Ring. Well, Elden Ring is kind of like a Dark Souls game, but it's successful because the combat's very challenging. And one of the biggest problems with MMOs, and one of the biggest problems, probably the single. I don't want to say it's the single. To me, that one of the biggest problems is the pay to win. You got to get rid of the pay to win. Pay to win needs to be knocked out of MMOs. It just needs to be removed. I don't think you're going to have a good experience in an MMO like we had in World of Warcraft you know, on the first year with all the pay to win stuff. It just isn't going to happen because you have people that are getting ahead of other people, and it's making the people that can't do that, that don't have the money, it's making them it's making them get angry, right? Because there's so many people that judge how good someone is in the game by what their gear is, by what content they've cleared, which we all know doesn't mean they're a good player or not. Just because someone's cleared all the raids, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're really great at their class. They could have been tons of great people in their guild. They could have just been average, you know, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But because people judge people based on the content they've cleared and what gear they have, there's all these people out there that want to get up there really quickly because they want to flex their e-peen. Thanks, Muhammad, for the subscription, dude. I appreciate it. There's all these people that want to get up there and flex their e-peen and they look at me. And then there's all the people that wish they were up there. You know, like Asmongold said on his channel a couple days ago that when he was doing Wrath of the Lich King and his guild was getting in there and taking on the Lich King, there were so many people that were on the server he was on who'd never been there, who'd never seen the Lich King, who'd never participated. And so they're coming up to him, dude, what was it like? What was it like? Did you see the Lich King? Was it cool? You know, and that's part of it. People want to be a part of the content, the hard content, and they want to see it. And so if someone is just paying to win to get up to that content, it devalues that for people who can't do that. They're like, fuck that guy. I don't even want to do that content anymore because he shouldn't even be there because he didn't earn it. You know what I mean? It leaves a bad taste in the mouth of the other players, you know? You have to get rid of the pay to win. And you've got to change the progression so that it's not just gear-based. I mean, gear-based is got to be there because everybody wants that. It should be there. It's part of fantasy. It's part of Dungeons and Dragons. It should be there, but it shouldn't be the only systems in place that are there for progression. There should be lots of ways to grow your character. And I don't know what they all are, you know, and I've racked my brain over this stuff for years. And I have tons of documents on my computer here where I've taken notes on systems I think we could put in the games that would be innovative. And it's funny, over the past few years, I've come up with systems in my mind that I thought would be innovative, and some of those systems have come out. Some of the stuff that I've thought about that I thought would be good have actually emerged. Guild Wars 2 came out with Dynamic Quest. I was talking about that stuff years before Guild Wars 2 ever did it. But that was a pretty obvious system. I think the only reason we didn't have that in MMOs is because they just weren't that complex. The MMOs didn't, the computers, the CPU power and, the time it took to make the MMO, right? It just wasn't there. But I think areas we can really push MMOs a lot is really weather systems. I really think we need to do a lot more with weather. I think we need to do a lot more with blah, 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 with atmospherics. I think, there's times when you, even in just like Skyrim, when you're walking into a town and it's like pouring down rain, right? And I think we need to do a lot more with the story, and we need to do a lot more with the AI, the artificial intelligence. And I'm not saying it has to be like true AI. What I'm talking about is just basing the behavior of your interactions with the players in the world based on all the events that are occurring in the world. And those events could be the rain, could be like, is the town recently been attacked by a band of trolls or something? Could it be the certain time of year? Maybe that specific town has a festival going on. Like maybe you walked into the town of Bree and there's the Beltane Festival or some sort of like Brewfest, beer festival. And we know that MMOs have these things, but I think we could make more of them and add more of them into the game. And I don't think they necessarily all have to be like quest-based things. They could just be stuff that's there for visual like eye candy, It doesn't have to always revolve around the character. It doesn't always have to revolve around, oh, there's going to be these quests I have to do for the Brewfest. No, it doesn't have to be that. It could just be that it's just world building. It's just world building. And there could be stuff like maybe you're at the beer fest and you go in to maybe just interact with some NPCs and maybe have a beer, maybe pick up a girl and do some sort of little like, kind of a comedy type skit where you try to get laid or something, and no sexual nudity or anything like that, but just stuff in the game that allows people to do fun little side tasks that make the game enjoyable, that we don't see that much in MMOs too much, Oh, you need a high NPC? Oh, the new Gears of War looks need high NPC. Yeah, I haven't looked at the new Gears of War. Oh, that sucks, dude. It sucks when your PC can't cut it. I've been there, man. I've been there. It's no fun. But yeah, we need, there needs to be a lot more AI in games. There needs a lot more creativity in the world, and it always goes back to like a fantasy book, right? If you ever read like Lord of the Rings, or if you ever read like Terry Brooks or The Sword of Shannara, or if you've ever read The Wheel of Time, or if you've ever read Stephen R. Donaldson, like Lord Fowl's Bane or something. And there's actually, I'm not sure if that's Stephen. I think it is. Or you've even read Brandon Sanderson. There's lots of fantasy books out there. Stormbringer, Michael Moorcock novels. An MMO, the world building in MMO should be on par at this point in time because of how far we've gone. It's kind of like my analogy with the family, the people drinking the wine, and then the guest brought the better bottle of wine. That's what's happened with MMOs right now. We've raised the bar high enough, but we've kind of plateaued, and all the games that are coming out are all basically the same shit. It's just a mismatch of all that stuff. No one's has been able to raise the bar up again. To really raise the bar. No one's done that, but someone will. Someone's going to make an MMO that's going to rock our socks. It's going to be completely different. They're going to bring systems in that we've never even seen before. It'll happen eventually, but that's what the genre needs, And until we get that, we're all kidding ourselves. We're all kidding ourselves jumping into a game like Lost Ark thinking this is the next great MMO. It's not. It isn't. It's fun, and if you go into the game looking to just play it and have fun, and just keep in mind that these pay to win mechanics are there, and these grindy type things are there, and so it's if you're trying to get to the end game and clear all the content, either you're going to sink a lot of time into the game to get there, or you're just going to be, like I said, doing some of those pay to win mechanics. So swiping your credit card. Anyways, that was my TED talk for the night. I haven't done a TED talk in a while, and can you believe it? Ayn Bay wasn't even here. The one time I do a TED talk, but yeah, I think that's something I've always wanted to do. I've got another YouTube channel, and I've always wanted to kind of get on there and just talk about hashing out things you could do to make a better MMO. I think I've even done some videos on that channel called steps to making a better MMO. Actually, it might even be on this channel that I did that, but yeah. I don't know. I don't know when we're going to see that. I mean, I'm waiting for a new MMO to come out that's going to be really fun. And, it's Pantheon Rise of the Fallen looks like it could be decent. But the problem with that game that really bugs me is the graphical fidelity. Like, especially when you go into Lost Ark and you see how cool some of the level design is and how cool the art looks, right? So imagine, we've been playing Lost Ark and there's some really nice crisp graphics, right? Then you go into Pantheon Rise of the Fallen and you look at this is a stream they just did on February 10th, and they're discussing, this is concept art, but look how bland it is. And I understand it's early, and it's just concept art, but even they say it's early, which I really have to laugh. This game started development like 2017, I believe. They started in 2014, but they rebooted in 2017, so we'll be nice and say they started development in 2017, which, as you know, is about 5 years ago now. So, so when they show, and look at the characters, and look how massive the scale. One thing about Pantheon is the scale of the buildings and structures in the game are just massive. And I've never really understood that. And I'm not a fan of that. Like, do we have... I wonder if we have concepts. There was, but I don't like stuff on like the really massive scale because I just don't feel like it's that realistic. I know sometimes they think it's cool and stuff. Oh, we can make this fantasy world and the vast huge scape of these things, but I'm not sure that I'm really on board with that. I don't know if they have it in here. And I've watched probably every video there, every Lord of the Rings movie video. I've watched all these, but and what I'm talking about though is let's do this. I have? So, like, to me, like, if we're playing, like, a fantasy or an MMO, these are the kind of buildings I want to see. I want to see stuff like this, you know, which is more, like, normal size. It's not like these, you know, if we want to have a castle, like a grandiose castle, it could look something like this. To me, this is a very grandiose castle. This one right here is a beautiful castle. I don't remember where this is at. And then let's see taverns. Do I have taverns? I should. I don't have taverns. Oh my god. And, you know, here's another example of, like, some pretty crowded, like, you know, street. And this would be part of a big city, like a big fantasy city. This may not look like much, but this wouldn't, you wouldn't see this in, like, a little village. I mean, it's pretty, you know, 3-story buildings. Here's another screenshot, something like what we'd see in Guild Wars 2. Very similar to, like, a Guild Wars 2, you know, look. Here we've got some really beautiful... These look like building structures that we saw in Lord of the Rings. You know, that little the water town. Remember the water town? I can't remember what it was called. You know, the water town right by Erebor. That's what that looks like. That's from, I think. And again, this is a really... I saved this image because I really liked what really struck me about this image was a couple things. I loved the gradation of the land, and this is something we don't see in MMOs a lot, which I would like to see a little bit more of. But I really think, you know, a lot of people talk about Lost Ark. We talk about how crisp the graphics look and the levels, and I think, you know, you can't forget, like, that's a really important part of making an MMO. It's really important that the world looks like a really rich and living and breathing world. And one of the ways to do that is to give the land and the environment of a realistic feel to it. And a lot of times you'll see MMOs where cities and stuff are just so flat. You know, there's not a lot of curvatures and hills. And if you look at this picture here, you see, look at the gradation of the ground here, how it comes up at curves underneath the door here. And then notice how it curves back down. And then as it goes up between the two buildings, it curves up quite drastically. Okay? So these buildings are kind of on a slope. The other thing I liked about this shot was the walkway between the two buildings, because you don't see that in an MMO too much. We did get that in Booty Bay in World of Warcraft, where there's been a few buildings in Booty Bay where there were little kind of like walkways between some of the sections. But this stuff's really important. You know, I think if you're going to make an MMO and you want to make it, you need this stuff, because people, if the buildings and everything looks just like every other MMO, people are just going to gloss over and they're just going to walk past it all. You want people to stop and look. And when I was playing Lost Ark yesterday, one of the things that was really cool was I was playing on that little island with all the little fairy people, and I was shrunken down to like a really small size, the size of like a fairy. And I was walking past a pair of glasses, like human glasses, and they were ginormous. I was only as tall as like the lens of the glasses. You know, they were ginormous. And one of the parts I walked over what looked like a bridge, and what it was a book, a human book that was just laying, you know, down on its side. And I was walking across the spine of the book, and that was like the bridge. And just that kind of stuff made me actually stop while I was playing and observe the art and the layout and the level design. And that's the kind of stuff you want. And that makes the world more engaging and more rich. And it made my experience of that whole, and I said yesterday, and today I will restate it. It made my whole experience, that was the best experience I've had in Lost Ark, because that zone was the coolest zone. You know, that what is it called? Mukokoko Village or whatever, you know? Yeah, GTA, Grand Theft Auto I've always heard that about Grand Theft Auto. I've never played it, but I've always heard that that's very realistic. But yeah, I always like this picture for some of those details that I just talked about. Let's see what else we got. Just another building. A lot of these are the kind of Bavarian structures. These are actually art assets that are taken from a video game. Another example of like a kind of your typical medieval, but this was the one that actually has the livestock. In fact, in original medieval times, a lot of times the first floor was livestock. Actually, there would be livestock on the bottom floor. You know, they would, because that way they could have the livestock outside, but their chickens and their pigs and stuff could be brought inside in the winter to protect them from the elements. You know, again, more stuff. More Bavarian, medieval. I'm losing my voice, guys. What else we got? I know we've got more. I know I've got some like artwork as far as like buildings. I thought, where's my taverns? Bar? Where's the taverns? Where are my taverns? What's sort of just my concept art one? Nah, it's mostly forests. Ooh, English cities, yeah. Where the fuck's my taverns? Oh, fantasy taverns. There we go. Every good MMO has to have some pretty good taverns, right? Yeah, more of the same type of structures. But some of these pictures are good because they give you like reference for like what you could put inside the tavern, you know, having the nice like this is an example of something we haven't seen too much in MMOs. Like, how many times have you walked into a tavern in an MMO that had a big deer, you know, had a big buck head on the wall? Not too often. I can't remember ever seeing that. You know, again, that reminds me of the Guild Wars 2 city. But this is kind of some of the stuff that I'd like to see in MMOs, where we get a lot more rain. I'd like to see a lot more dark skies. That's another thing that we're missing in MMOs that needs to be put in, and I think it's one of the most important things. Is we need better weather, you know, weather changing. We need darker nights. We need a lot more darker nights, and I hate it when games like Black Desert did this. They came out and they had like very dark night cycle, and then people complained about it or something, or I don't know what happened, but they changed it. It used to be so dark in Black Desert at night that you had a lantern that you carried with you, and you would pull out your lantern, equip it, and light it so you could see the enemies you were fighting. And if you didn't have the lantern equipped, it was like you were almost blind. It was so dark. And I loved it. It was great. I mean, it's awesome. And that they took that away, and that was just, you know, they changed it. And even the first versions of World of Warcraft, believe it or not, had really dark night cycles. They're really dark. And they changed that as well before it even went to release. But I do think that MMOs need a lot better weather systems. We need nighttime. We need night raids. We need. I would love to see, like in Lineage 2, like when I played Lineage 2, like when you went out and you farmed monsters, and people, like a lot of stuff I want to see people aren't going to like because they're based on more realism type stuff that will slow down people's progression. But I think that's needed. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't going to want to play an MMO that's the type of MMO I'm talking about because it will be a slow MMO. I mean, it's kind of like EVE Online in a way. You know how people have played EVE Online for years and years and years and years, right? I mean, that's kind of the MMO I want. That's the thing. I want the MMO that's going to be around for a long time. I don't want to have to keep switching MMOs, you know. Yeah, but yeah, you need dark scenes, but I mean, I think you need. I would like to see, and this would be really cool, but I'd like to see nighttime scenes where, like I said, where I would like to see where you go into a tavern, oh yeah, I want to finish my thought. Sorry, I kind of forgot. But on Lineage 2, if you were out fighting monsters, right, when you took damage, and let's say your health dropped to 50%, one of the ways that you could regenerate your health in Lineage 2 was to sit down, was to do /sit. And if you /sit, your character would sit down, and your health would regen faster. So, like, you would basically farm monsters over and over and over again, and then you would sit down. And I'm trying to remember. I mean, I don't know if there were healing potions. I think there were healing potions. It's just been so long since I played Lineage 2. But I mean, there were healing potions, but you just either they were expensive or there was a time delay. You know, like you can only use them so often. Which I'm a big fan of, by the way. I'm not a big fan of Lost Ark, the way you can just use a potion like every 10 seconds or 20 seconds. I'm not a fan of that because, again, it's not realistic. Other things I've thought about putting in MMOs, which would really piss people off, is gear degradation. So, you know, basically your gear would degrade, and when you repair it, it would lose durability. So even magical gear would just degrade at a slower rate. So all your gear would eventually have to be replaced. Like, say, no gear you get is just going to last forever. Maybe if you had some super amazing, like legendary something, we would say that, yeah, or certain magical items. Maybe if we gave the magical item a name, like let's say there's like swords that are magical and do more damage, right? But then specific swords have the have the uh, have the property of unbreakable. Okay, so if you're lucky enough to get a +4 unbreakable sword, it won't degrade ever. But that would be super 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 rare, and so that way you give people the mechanic of being able to have unbreakable gear if they want to either try to find it, or if they can't find it, maybe they can go to the auction house, they can pay a lot of money and they can buy it. Because if they're the kind of person who's like, I hate when my gear breaks, you know what I mean? Or I want certain gear to look a certain way, and I get the gear looking exactly the way I want it, but then it breaks on me and I got to go find another item that looks like that. So you'd want to put in a mechanic that allows them to kind of circumnavigate, to circumvent that to some degree. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I definitely would like to see a mechanic in the game where when you go out and you do like a dungeon, and there should be some sort of a respite. There should be some sort of a recovery time. So like, let's say you're done with your dungeon. Let's say you go and do stockades or whatever dungeon, and you come out, you're cut up, you're taking damage, you're tired. So then maybe for the next 5 hours in the game, you can't do any more dungeons. And so for the next 5 hours, you have to do something else. You have to go maybe work on exploration, or maybe you have to go out. You know what I mean? So that would be a good way to slow down the progress of just constantly grinding out dungeons over and over again. But again, that could also cause other problems. I mean, everything you think of that, there's always going to be negatives. There's always positive and negatives. You really have to think about it. Hey, no problem, Mohammed. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for the sub. I appreciate it, man. I really do. But there's always going to be positives and negatives for whichever way you go with it, and it all has to be like kind of thought out. I liked the screenshot of the bar. I thought this was kind of I liked how they had this weird creature up here on the bar, and then at the top of the bar, of course, had a bunch of plants, and then they even you can see there's some steam. It almost looks like steampunk. It looks like there's some steam, like piping and stuff, and lots of multiple levels: upper level, middle level, lower level, and then even further level down to the right here. So I always enjoyed this image. It kind of reminded me of like a Star Trek type, because you can see there's aliens here. Like at the bar, it looks like an alien. The people here, looks like it came out of Star Wars or something. Again, just another bar scene. But the reason I have a lot of these taverns, arts, is because this is like something I would like to see in MMOs. I would like to see systems that kind of force players to maybe interact with other players, or maybe interact with other NPCs more often. Like I said, if you had some sort of a limit, like if you did a dungeon, then you had to have some downtime to recover, then maybe going to the bar would be one way to recover. You could go to the bar, and maybe if you got something to eat, maybe you'd order some drinks, and maybe when you were at the bar, you could participate in some cards to try to make money. Maybe you could, like I said, you try to pick up a bar girl if you wanted, or something, or just add some roleplay stuff in there. But add some systems in there so you can do stuff that's beneficial. And if you go to the bar and you eat and you drink some beer or whatever, your recovery time is better. You can maybe go to the next dungeon faster. So give people an incentive to want to go do that. So, but I mean, these are just like systems that slow down repetitive. Because I think one of the things that MMOs that kind of sucks is people just running dungeons over and over and over again. Like, I'm just going to run this dungeon like over and over 20 times in a row. I think if people are doing that, I don't think the game's really been created in the best possible way. I understand people want to get gear, but put some sort of a systems in place to maybe slow down people from just spamming dungeons over and over again. And again, this is just what caught me about this image was it looks like a church almost, but that in the middle of the church, it's got almost like a stone, almost like a castle kind of tower, which is really unusual. So what makes me think is that maybe they built this castle tower first, and then they built this left and right pieces of this building around it, and maybe cut through the stone at the bottom for openings so you could go, completely through the building. So it's just a unique structure. I thought that was pretty cool. And that one, again, and I think that's, oh no, I didn't see this one yet. I got this one mostly because of the wood structure, just the architecture. I like the architecture of this one and the perspective as well. Again, lots of wood, candelabra. Even like there's a person. Looks like, is that a person up there? I can't tell. I don't think that. Is that a person? I think it is. And then up here you've just got some. Oh, it looks like a hammock with just some supplies, and then a stage. Here's the stage. So again, this is a great little tavern here because you've got this beautiful stage, so people can sit down and enjoy the performances. And again, this would be another kind of hub. So if you think about quest hubs and MMOs, they really suck, right? They're really stupid. You run through the game, and all of a sudden you just happen to be walking down a road. Some guy's like, "Hey, could you do this and that?" You know, it's fine if it happens once in a while, but in MMOs it happens entirely too often. And then towns have quest hubs that are just, it starts to become like so repetitive and so like, it's like you just know and Lost Ark is so linear, so it's perfect. It's actually one of the most linear games I've played because it's so linear that you move. If you guys play Lost Ark, you move from like one side of the map to the other. It's like, okay, we start in the bottom left corner, so I kind of think that when we leave this map, we're probably going to be leaving in the top right corner. But if we start in the left, we'll probably leave to the right. If we start at the bottom, I'll probably leave out this map on the top. It's so linear, and that can be really boring, you know. But I mean, think about having this tavern as a hub. That after you went through a dungeon, you had to ask around. You wouldn't know where it was. That's the other thing in the MMO that I would create is there wouldn't be any world map. There'd be no world map, and there would be no mini map. And people complain about that, and people say they don't want that. They wouldn't like that. But think of how much just sheer real estate on the screen you're going to recover without the mini-map, without any need to hit the M key to go to the world map, which is always kind of a distraction. I mean, it's a distraction from immersion. Now you would have, like, a map, you know, like you can have your own map. Like, so you could basically just write your own map down, you know, while you're sitting at your computer, or what I would probably do is allow for you to go to certain towns and talk to a map maker, and the map maker may sell you a map, but you can't. There's no guarantee how good his map is, you know. So that, you know. But think about, like, after you just fought off some monsters or just finished a dungeon run, and you happen to stumble into this little village, you end up coming into this little this tavern, and you have to interact with people and talk to people and find tasks by interacting with NPCs. And maybe you talk to the NPCs and maybe one of them wants to hire you to fight off a bear that's been attacking his cattle, you know, or maybe one of them wants to hire you to track down his brother who's gone missing. He went out into the woods searching for treasure, or searching for something, and he never came back. You know what I mean? This is more role-playing stuff, but I just think it would, you know, and of course it still isn't that different than MMOs now. It really isn't. But I think if you built the atmospherics better and added a little bit more interactions between the players and the NPCs, but you got to make the story good. Because everything I'm talking about right now with the interactions in the tavern, and this has all been done before, really. So it has to be done in a fresh way, and it has to be done with a really good story. I think one of the ways, because remember we're talking about quest hubs and how boring quest hubs are. So if the tavern itself is like a quest hub, there should be encounters in the tavern that are dangerous. Maybe someone tries to pickpocket you. Maybe someone tries to, you know, mug you, right? So those types of things I think would be cool to see put into the game. Like I said, maybe, you know, if we put something in the game such that if you're injured, more almost like a survival game, or like if you come out of a dungeon and there's just RNG based negative effects from the dungeon run. Maybe you have a bad wound on your arm. Maybe you broke your leg, and these RNG things are going to require you to do stuff to get over those things. And I'm just spitballing this stuff. You know, I'm not saying that this stuff has to be in MMOs. I'm just saying these are different ways we can think about trying to liven up MMOs. You know. And then maybe because your leg's broken, you're at this tavern and you're trying to take it easy and rest. And while you're at the tavern, you know, you get mugged. Someone mugs you and steals your money, or maybe you get attacked while you're trying to sleep. And I don't know. So it's interesting. I think I don't know. And I could think about this stuff for a long time, and I could easily like debate. You know, I mean, I could strike down a lot of these things as saying this isn't going to work as this, and this is probably not a good idea. So I'm just throwing stuff out there that's stuff to think about. You know, but not all of it's will work. You know, and a lot of it depends on what the players are willing to put up with. Because a lot of this requires the player to probably read a lot. And I'm one of the first people that will complain about an MMO where I have to read a lot of text. Or I'm like, oh God, I got to read this. I got to read this. That's why you have to. You probably would have to have, cut some video, cut scenes, but make sure the player has the option to, to skip. I actually, what game does it really well is Rift actually did it really well. Rift has quest logs, right? But what the Rift did was it brought up like a quest, and it had a long description at the top of the quest. But then in the bottom of that same window, it had a summary. So you could either choose to read the long description, so you got the full information about the world and what's going on, or you could say, I don't want to read all this. I'm just going to jump down to the summary, and in the summary it says, Harold wants you to go kill these rabbits. But at the top it says, hey, because of this, this, and this, blah, 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 these rabbits, blah, blah, could you please help me out and kill these rabbits? So you could do stuff like that where you try to have like a really nice summary of what they're really... And what you don't want to see is clicks. It's just like, I'm a website developer. I write code for a living. And one of the things we don't want to see and we don't want to do is we don't want to cause the user to have to click a lot. Well, it's the same thing in an MMO. When you're talking to NPCs, try to keep the clicks to as much of a minimum as you can. One of the worst games that was Vindictus. You'd go to Vindictus tab and you'd be like click, 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 click. And also Lost Ark is really bad. In Lost Ark, I'm constantly like click, 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 click. So try to make the quest just one page dialogue. Try not to maybe always do so much interplay between the play. Like you talk to the NPC and then he comes back and then you say something or you do something and then you have to go back and click on him. And it's nice to have that, but it also can be very taxing on some users who don't want to deal with that. The traditional split up the loot. Hey, look at the loot we got from this dungeon run. And just this one was just kind of... I liked it for the darkness. I think we need more, more darkness in MMOs. We need more of a gritty feel. Another typical loot. This is the loot we plundered. Really cool. I always thought this was, again, another building that's got almost like a bridge or a section between two buildings, which don't see that in MMOs too much. And then we're back to the beginning. Anyways, I think we're done. I'm getting tired. My voice is going. I went through my TED Talk. This is a good one. But I think, yeah, I mean, just spitballing stuff. I play these games like Lost Ark, and I think it's a really good game. I think it's probably one. I don't play a lot of isometric games because I don't like them, but it's probably, from what I've heard from other people, it's probably one of the best isometric, action combat games that are out that have ever been done for that type of camera angle. But I just think that the RNG mechanics of the chanting and the pay-to-win aspect of the game is going to be its downfall. And I don't think you can fix that because the whole point of the pay-to-win is so that they can make money. And obviously they're probably making a shit ton of money off of Lost Ark in Korea and in Russia. But you can see Russia, from everything I've seen about the Russian servers, they're dying. Like when I go to log in the Russian servers, there's 2 servers. 2. That's not a lot. 2 servers. So the Russian servers of Lost Ark are dying. And, in Russia, people in Russia like playing video games. So it's not like there's not a lot of people that want to play those games. So, yeah, so I think we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see because Lost Ark is doing really well right now. I think we'll start to see the first drop off in about 3 weeks. So if we look at Steam charts, let me go to Lost Ark. You can see, I mean, the highest amount of people that I saw in Lost Ark was about 1.3 million. So let's go 1 month. So right here we were at 1.3 million, and then 1.3 million, and then it dropped down to basically 1.1 million, and it's been pretty consistent at about 1.1 million here, 1.09 million, 1.08 million, 1.13. So it actually went up this day, and then look at this one, 1.17 and 1.074. But these are Saturday, Sunday. Okay, this is today. So 1.07. So, very healthy population, 1 million. But I do feel like over the next 3 weeks, this is going to slide down to like in the 900,000. But we'll see if I'm right. But I think in about 3 weeks, we'll see the daily peak drop from 1.74 million. In about 3 weeks, I think it's going to be down to 900,000. And then we'll see if I'm right. Because I just really think that once people, because a lot of people, everybody's still leveling up. A lot of people are anyway, are still leveling up or trying different characters. But once they kind of have tried all the characters out, they're going to focus on a main, get that main to 50, and then they're going to start doing the raids, and then they're going to start running into the RNG mechanics eventually of trying to enchant their gear. It may take a while because and I think they did it on purpose in Lost Ark, where basically you can level to 50. Sorry, I thought I heard my wife. You can level to 50. I got to check on her actually. You can level to 50, and then you can do the raids, and so it takes. And it's not really that difficult to do them in the beginning because your score is probably high enough. So there's a little bit of kind of a slow lead into the more difficult content. So, I think it could be a little bit longer than 3 weeks where we see the drop. I just think once people start to hit that hard wall of trying to enchant their gear up to like plus 15 or even plus 25, especially plus 25. That's going to drive a lot of people, I think, right out of the game. So we may not see that for a couple months, probably, but we should see it definitely within the first 2 months. We should see if the population does start to just dip. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for listening to me rant for so long. I hope you guys have a good night. What is it, Monday? Yeah, and I will... Oh, shit, it's 2/22/2022. Oh, look at that, guys. It is now 2/22/2022. That'd be cool when we're in 2222. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Peace out.